We begin the programme with breaking news that the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been moved to intensive care inside a London hospital after his COVID-19 symptoms worsened. Johnson was admitted to hospital on Sunday night and had been undergoing tests after suffering persistent symptoms for more than 10 days. Earlier on Monday, the government had said Boris Johnson was in good spirits and still in charge. But Downing Street now says Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has been asked to deputise. Nadeem Baba joins me now live from London via Skype. And Nadeem, I think it was only a few days ago, I think Thursday evening, when we saw some images of the Prime Minister. He stepped outside briefly to applaud workers of the National Health System. That was Thursday. It's now Monday, and it seems an incredibly quick deterioration. What else do we know?
That's right, Barbara. When he did appear in Downing Street on Thursday evening for that applause for health and care workers, he didn't look a well man at all. Lots of people commented on that. But it's not a surprising development for somebody who has coronavirus, who has COVID-19, as he did, and went into isolation over 10 days ago. For things to change fairly quickly, I mean, in terms of a number of days, that's not a surprising development that he was admitted to St Thomas's Hospital on the south bank of the River Thames on Sunday evening local time. We were told that was for as a precautionary step, and he'd be receiving routine checks. It's understood that those checks partly are to do with any breathing difficulties, and that was also because he was still suffering symptoms of COVID-19, including a high temperature and a persistent cough. One of the well-known symptoms is a dry cough. Now, on Monday, of course, he didn't chair the cabinet meeting for the first time since he was in isolation. He'd been doing it via video link. Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, did. Then Mr. Raab appeared at this press briefing just a few hours ago now, saying that Boris Johnson was in good spirits. And in fact, Boris Johnson himself had tweeted as much, that he was fine, basically. And Mr. Raab said, under repeated questioning from reporters who were questioning why Boris Johnson was continuing to work if he was unwell enough to be in hospital, Mr. Raab said he continues to take advice from his doctors, but that he continues to run things, he continues to head the government and to receive regular updates. Well, now this surprise news that at about 7 p.m. local time, just a couple of hours ago, from 10 Downing Street themselves, saying that he was moved to the intensive care unit in that hospital in case he needed a ventilator. Now, the local press are also reporting a bit more detail, saying that, in fact, in the course of the afternoon, he started to experience breathing difficulties and had to be administered oxygen. That doesn't mean he was using a ventilator, but it does mean that it had become more serious. That much is clear, Barbara.
And obviously there's a lot that we don't know right now, Nadeem, but from what we do understand, it doesn't seem that he's been intubated quite yet. Nadeem, can you hear me? I think we've lost the connection to Nadeem Baba joining us from London. Well, Nadeem, thank you for that. And of course, we'll bring you more developments on the condition of Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, who has been taken to intensive care a few hours ago. Now the news broke in the past half hour or so, and we will bring you more developments as we get them here in the newsroom.